Alright team, let's jump into a trade review for FTNT. Took the open level trade in FTNT this morning, guys, and here's a breakdown on this trade. So last night, or it was this morning, but prior to today's session, FTNT beat earnings and was set to gap higher. So anytime you're looking at something, guys, that's in a gap, much higher or much lower, and for you newer traders, gap just means that's a gap. The gap is when we open or close, a significant distance, or it doesn't have to be significant, but that's a big gap. When you close, a level that is a lot further away from where we closed previously, or we opened at another level. I'm sorry, that's further away from where we closed. So that's a gap right there, guys. So anytime we're looking to play the gap, these are things we want to ask ourselves: are we running into any major levels of resistance? That's important to know, guys, because regardless of how much the stock is set to, open higher, if it's approaching a level where this stock has consistently found resistance and just gotten knocked on its ass time and time again, we want to be mindful of that. But taking a look here today, guys, this was pretty much the only level of resistance that FTNT had to break. And it did that right at the open. It never even touched that level, so there's no level of resistance to be found anywhere for FTNT today. That's something that really goes, in our favor. No major level of resistance, no key area that we're gonna have to battle, in order to get our move. So that's a great thing, guys. The next question we want to ask ourselves after we answer that is the market supportive? And my note right now is summer shit. We're in the first week here of August, guys, and the market typically in August is just pretty non-eventful. And we're starting to kind of see the trend of the summer take place here, which is just a whole lot of nothing. So, is the market weak? No, not necessarily. Is it strong? Not necessarily. It's just kind of eh. So, the market, I wouldn't say goes against my trade, but it certainly isn't going for it. There isn't billions of dollars flowing into the market. So, that's something I want to be mindful of. I don't have an incredibly strong, trending market behind this move today. And those are two major things you want to ask yourselves, guys. Whether a stock is going to gap higher on earnings or news or, whatever it may be. If you're going to look to play it, are we approaching any major levels of resistance? In this case, the answer was no. How is the market? Is the market supportive of me trying to go long this stock? Right now, the market is just kind of so we'll call it 50-50. And there's a few great things about this trade, guys, that whether it be earnings season or outside of earnings season, this is definitely a trade that I'm going to continue to work on, continue to try to perfect, and continue, to utilize day in and day out. Great things about this trade, stock gapping higher, is that it has edge. The edge here in FTNT today, guys, was that we were set to gap higher on an earnings beat. The reason we were opening up 11% higher from the previous day is because there was a lot of positive news on this earnings announcement. Investors came rushing to accumulate this today, guys, and you can see that by the volume right here. So by default, we already have edge. We already are placing ourselves in a situation where, this stock has a lot going for it. To the upside, that's edge. That's something that's working in our favor. You try to go short this stock today, you have no edge at all. All this positive news, all this volume, all this excitement that long-term investors must be feeling today. You want to have edge, guys. So that's a great thing about this trade. We have edge, and it's easy to execute. There's a few different ways you can play a gap. You can play it, on a nice, simple pullback, or like this morning, the good old open level. We'll open the 5-minute chart here, guys, and new Focus Trades members, log on to the site, head to the members area, click day trading, and then check out the open level video, because I'm not really going to jump into the details of the setup here, but you can definitely get that from that video on the site. So we open up as expected, guys, on some big time volume today, big time gap higher, and we open up at 70.50 right here. So that white line on my chart, guys, represents where we opened. Immediately after we opened, guys, the stock began to pull back, and for a minute or two it was just fading below its open. However, again, they beat earnings. There's a lot of momentum behind this. It's a strong gap. no level of resistance in sight. This may be an all-time high, to be honest with you. Buyers came back in, guys, and they pushed the stock back to its open and back above. That's when I took my position, right as we broke back above the open. And let me get my app right now, and I can tell you guys the exact time frame of this trade. So I entered at 9:34. So entered right here at 9:34, guys, and I was only in this trade for 2 minutes. So 2-minute trade in at 9:34, out on this next bar here at 9:36, 2 minutes later. And here's why this trade is easy, guys. We want to show up every day with a few go-to setups that we have, in our exposure that we can utilize when appropriate. I wasn't necessarily looking for this particular setup today on FTNT. It really could have done anything from the open, but I was presented with the open level. It broke below and came back. I know how to execute on that, and that's a very easy trade, guys. Every detail of this trade is figured out. Where am I going to enter? If it breaks back above the open. Where would I cut my loss? If it breaks below the open. I'm going to get out immediately. And one thing I've been utilizing lately is something called the ATR. Now, that's an average true range. And that's, the biggest move that a stock is likely to make, on a given time frame. So that green line right there, guys, that green dotted line, that represents, a full average true range move for this stock on the 5-minute time frame. That's where I took my profit. 2 minutes later, 2-minute trade, $150. So not a huge position, guys. Again, I'm just trying to pick up some bills on these kind of trades sometimes, but again, my entry was planned. I know where I would have exited, and I knew where I wanted to take profit. That point is just a matter of execution, guys. So I've been getting a good amount of questions lately about the average true range, and here's the thing, guys. I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer. I don't know how to suggest or give you advice to put the average true range into your platform. We're all on different platforms, things like that. And to be completely honest with you, I don't put any of these tools on my charts myself either. This is something my mentor and I work on together. He's great at coding, and when we identify something that we think is a worthwhile tool, he comes in, does it over magic required, and gets it on my chart. So let's say you're on Thinkorswim, or let's say you're on TradeStation, or whatever it may be, guys. Your best bet, and I'm not saying this because I don't want to help, it's just because I simply can't. I don't know how. Your best bet is to either call up, support, do the live chat with support, ask them about the ATR, or YouTube, or something like that, or give them a call. It's a very simple indicator. It's available on, I would imagine, almost every platform, and you should be able to get it, guys. But because I don't know everyone's platform, and I'm not really, again, I don't spend time to learn this kind of stuff. This is something my mentor helps me with because he's put in a lot of years, And it might be as simple as clicking the chart, guys, and saying add indicator. I'm not sure, but that's your best bet. Online, YouTube, customer service, the support desk, something like that. But back to this trade, guys. Super easy. We got the gap. This trade had edge. It had a catalyst behind it. We were presented with a low risk entry point, which was the break of that open level. And then I took my exit as planned as it crossed the 1 ATR level. In and out, 2 minutes. $150. I'll take that every single day of the week, guys, and that's that. So that's the beauty of an open level trade on a stock that's gapping higher on earnings, or gapping higher for any reason. It has edge, and if we can take a low risk entry, guys, these trades can really produce some nice returns, as you can see in a short period of time.